Let's go over to our studios in Abuja. We've got Rotimi Oyekami, who is the Chief Press Secretary to the Chairman of INEC. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, you may have heard Ajara there saying, look, why are people asking journalists all the questions? They should be asking you, INEC, in terms of what's happening in Bauchi. But, you know, you said as much that for the state governorship elections, there will be no elections as a result of the court matter there, but there will be in state constituencies. But at the moment, we see some publications in the papers. Now, much as, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, INEC did release a document which says that, for instance, in Bauchi, you will have, there's one local government where you've got 1,111 voters who are ready to come out and vote. But some papers are talking way beyond just one local government. They're talking about 22,641 voters who are expected in this vote. So give us an update on what exactly is going to play out tomorrow.
Thank you for having me. We are going to conduct elections in Bauchi tomorrow, except in Tafawa, Balewa local government area because of the court action instituted by the All Progressive Congress and its candidate. But we have prepared for the other elections, the other places, the other local governments where the elections will take place. However, while we have complied with the restraining order, we have also instituted action to vacate that order and dismiss the action.
So at the moment, because we don't know when all of that will come to an end, what usually is the thinking? Because one key thing about this, you don't want to fix an election and not have people come out. What kind of thinking does INEC have about voter turnout, and what do you do about that to encourage people to come out?
Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I think this is a litigation-happy country, especially with politicians. I think that if you go into an election, you should have it at the back of your mind that two things are likely to happen. It's either you win or you lose. And you should be able to take any situation with maturity. We were prepared for the election, and we had mobilized. I think we have sensitized the public. All of a sudden, we had this court issue, which shouldn't really be there in the first place. But as a law-abiding agency, we have to comply with the order. But we are challenging that order. And I think that, yes, you're right, people will be confused as to what is going on. I think that our Benue State Office is trying its best to inform the stakeholders about what is really going on and to encourage them to come out and vote. And I hope that the court will expedite action on this matter so that we can have this election done over with as quickly as possible.
Excuse me. The angle of voter education is something that gives some of us concern. It's already very emotionally costly for people to come out to cast their votes, and then for whatever reason they are not able to do that again. How much of that has happened so far? Because from what we heard from Bauchi State, that hasn't happened a lot. And then there are a number of people in Lagos who are supposed to vote tomorrow. I don't know if they are even aware now of their responsibility or duty to vote tomorrow. How much of voter education has gone into this, and on how many platforms? Because TV and radio alone may not be able to adequately cover it. So please educate us.
Thank you very much. It's a big challenge for us, really, getting across to all the voters, because as you know, it's not just the literate, it's not just those who have access to the social media platforms that are of concern to us. It's literally all the voters who are past the age of 18, who are registered and who have PVCs in these areas. On the side of INEC, I think engagement with the stakeholder is very, very important. But of course, that's not enough. we do we put a lot of content out there on our social media platforms. But of course, not all Nigerians are on the social media. We make announcements on local radio in the state where we are going to have these elections. We encourage the political parties, really. The political parties are also required to play active roles in sensitizing their supporters to come out and vote for them. You know, and we are also concerned, and if you check the rate of participation over several years, turnout has been quite low. Even this presidential election that we had, it was less than 37%. In 2015, it was less than 30%. I think we have that issue, really, in this country, and we need to work hard on that. But when you now have that problem, and then you have all these court cases slowing down our process, or where you have external interference in our process, it becomes a huge challenge. And of course, we are really concerned. We are trying our best, but it then remains to be seen whether that effort is enough to galvanize people to come out and vote.
Well, we will come back to the court cases, but let me take it further on this voter education thing. As you mentioned, political parties are also expected to perform their role of educating the electorate, and of course, INEC has its own role. And some have also suggested, and we also agree, that the National Orientation Agency should have its own role to play. Is there a concerted effort by these three agencies or these three bodies to educate the electorate so that we are not dissipating energy?
Yes, there is. We have this synergy with these sister agencies, and they assisted us quite a lot when we had the presidential election, and we also take them along when we are conducting any form of election, and they have really been trying. But this country is huge, and the fact is, you know, the resources are not there to do the things the way they are supposed to be done ordinarily. For instance, if we are buying airtime on TV, it costs a lot of money. If you are buying airtime on the radio, it costs a lot of money. These things are not free. And the National Orientation Agency has its own template. They can assist us only to an extent. The social media platform is good. That doesn't cost too much money. But then you have to look at how many people really are on social media. Like Twitter, for instance. We have large followership on Twitter, about 1.2 million. But 1.2 million out of 84 million registered voters, that's a far cry. On Facebook, we have less than 500,000 followers. And we put a lot of content there. Actually, if you are a student conducting research on election in Nigeria, and you go on our social media platform, there is a lot of content. On our website, we have a lot of content. But how many people really go to these places? That's the issue. So the platform we have, we put a lot of content there, but the concern is how many people take time to go there and see these things. So these are the challenges that we face.
Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu in Bauchi, just talked to us about the concerns of the people, one of which is they are confused in knowing whether or not there will be a governorship elections in Bauchi tomorrow. Could you clarify that?
Yes, I'm aware, for instance, that the Resident Electoral Commissioner has engaged a lot with the stakeholders over the last few weeks to tell them about what is going on. I hope that that has gone far enough. Obviously, it can't reach everybody, and I think those who are asking questions really don't know. Either they are not aware of those meetings that took place, or they weren't listening. You know, a lot of people can be in various activities. When we are making radio announcements and you are not there, you can't really get the message. And I think, but for me, I think from what the information at my disposal, the state office has done quite a lot of consultation to provide information for the people. But obviously, it's not everybody that was carried along in that process.
So they also are confused regarding the governorship elections, which you have now confirmed that will take place, and are asking the question that shouldn't you have concluded the collation of results and announcement to know who the winner of the governorship election is before you know whether or not you should have a supplementary elections? What can you tell us about that?
In Bauchi State, you mean?
Yes.
Well, you have to tie all the votes together. And, you know, there is a threshold for declaring results. We have results, but in Tafawa, Balewa, you had a violent disruption of the process. And because those things could not be collated, you cannot declare the entire result when you don't have all what it takes. Otherwise, somebody will go to court and say that you are trying to rig the election. That's just it. Once we have all the results complete and the parameters for declaring results have been met, we'll declare results.
So they're also asking that why is INEC having to go into supplementary elections when you said you're going to vacate the court order asking you to stop, to discontinue the collation and results announcement?
No, the order is just, you know, the order concerns only Tafawa Balewa local government. It doesn't stop us from other local governments. That's the difference. We'll go ahead with the local governments that are not covered by the court order, while we'll battle with the order concerning Tafawa Balewa local government area.
And concerning Ningi local government area, where you had about 2,533 cancelled votes as to a mistake that was made that reflected 25,330. What has been done about that?
The if votes have been cancelled, you cannot count them. They must have been cancelled for one reason or the other. For instance, if there was violence or if there was unwillingness, willful refusal to use the smart card reader, we record 0 for those local governments. And if the ballots, for instance, show that the ink, the fingerprinting the fingerprint on the ballot papers does not clearly indicate which political party owns the vote, then it becomes something that we cannot be counted. So cancelled votes, the threshold for that is very clear. We can't put that as part of all the votes that we are going to put out there as a result. It will be noted in the entire result how many votes are valid, how many are invalid, and how many are cancelled, and people will be able to see and you know, interrogate the tabulation. And you know, if they have issues, they come up with the issues, but we'll provide all the information. We have always done that.
All right, so Mr. Ikami, if there's going to be election in 15 local government areas, but you published that there is one local government area where there's 1,111 voters. Could you shed some light on that? On
which local governments you mean?
Well, I mean, some of the list of states affected and the local government areas and the number of registered voters. What we see INEC publish is one for Bauchi, one local government area. So are we having elections in 1 or 15 local government areas?
No, we are having in 15. The only local government area, like I said, that we are not having election in Bauchi is the Tafawa Balewa local government area. Okay. That's where we are. Concerning the court order, that's the place where the court order covers. And, okay. And, you know, like I said earlier, while we have complied with the court order, we are also trying to vacate and dismiss that action.
Okay, so do we get a sense, is it clear now that the role that security agencies have got to play for this supplementary elections, has it all been sorted such that when the voters go out tomorrow, it's going to be smoother than last time out?
Well, incidentally, there was a meeting between the Commission and the security chiefs recently in Abuja, and the main topic was how to secure the environment during the supplementary elections. And I think a lot of issues were discussed. And we got assurances, first, that the security agencies will provide security, and second, that professional conduct will be the in thing for all security agencies. Journalists will not be harassed. Observers will not be prevented from having access to the polling units or collation centers. The arrangement in place about how the security agents should conduct themselves will be obeyed. For instance, election security requires that those around the polling units will not be armed. That's the inner ring. The middle ring, which consists of the patrols, are armed, but they can only intervene when called in, when there is trouble. And then we have the outer ring where you have the military guarding the entry and exit points of the states, so that we don't have infiltrators. But I think the arrangement is very clear. We don't expect any hiccup, and this is an election that people are interested in. And the assurances we have, I want to believe that the security agencies know that the stakes are high, and they will assist the Commission to conduct a good election. So I'm quite confident.